This video will be a preliminary to the one that I plan on doing on the healing stones that I have. But for this one, it will be mostly a whisper because of something that happened to me recently. I thought it would be worthwhile to do a whisper on our emotions and how we carry ourselves through everyday life. So, this is a chunk of amethyst. It is not mine. It belongs to my mother-in-law, but she had not cleaned it in the longest time, so it was just covered in dust and all sorts of things like that. So I took it and I cleaned it with soap and water, and then salt water actually needs to go on them, and I may do a video with that as well. But as far as the content of this video goes, the other day, as a fact of life, I generally try not to engage people in discussions or disagreements online unless I already know them, or unless I can tell that they are having a more academic discussion rather than actually being upset. The reason behind that is that because of the internet's anonymity, a lot of people are meaner than they would be in real life. They can be very childish. And also because people only or primarily communicate in text, a lot is lost in translation as far as body language goes, and tone and inflection. And for some reason, people tend to immediately feel that everyone is on the offensive, when a lot of times it isn't necessary. Because of this, some online discussions can make you angrier than they really ought to. And the thing about anger is that while there are a lot of things in this world that are worth being, passionately against, a lot of the pettier things in life just aren't worth your time and anger. Anger is a very negative emotion. That is not to say that you should never feel it, because sometimes anger and outrage are catalysts to positive changes in your life. But when you're projecting that at a different person, or even yourself, it can be very harmful, even if you don't notice it. As far as the field of autoneuroimmunology, we have been able to confirm today what a lot of people have known in general for a long time, and that being angry often is very bad for your health. You hold all these negative emotions in. It has an effect on your mind. It causes you to release more stress hormones than you would otherwise, and those, while useful and at certain times in your life, are not something that should be in your body long term. So, one of the rules that I have as far as when I am in a situation where I could be upset, this may not always apply, but one of the things I consider is, will I remember this situation in 2 years? And if not, then it's just not worth being upset about. More and more people, I think, these days are realizing that it is quite worthwhile to maintain a positive outlook and to be more loving and kind to other people, even if they don't seem to deserve it. It's really not your call. A lot of people who are mean and cruel are simply unloved, and you may not be able to fix them, but there's no need to add to the negativity that they bring to the world. So always do your best to stay positive, or at least neutral. This is the brush that I used on my murti in the last video. Even though this amethyst is clean, I thought you might like to see it brushed off. I like this piece because it has a beautiful icy look to it. My mother-in-law says that it is as light as it is because it's been sun bleached. I don't know if that's the case with this stone, but one of the interesting things about it is that the purple points are darker or lighter depending on if you can kind of look straight down through it. This rock has some dark sort of inclusions on it, which, despite the size of the piece itself, probably brought down its value. Because when you're looking for stones like this, a lot of times they'll grade them like they would jewelry, and so they could have like A, B, C clarity or rating. This is a smaller cluster. It's quartz. You can see the backside. It's many little facets. And there are several sizable points in this one. I haven't too much more to say on my outlook on the emotions, not because I think that there's nothing else worth saying, but because I don't like being too personal on the internet at all. So I like making ASMR videos, and I do think it's worthwhile to share my outlook, but I'm always reticent to do so. So for the rest of this video, just be quiet. think it would be helpful for a lot of people if, before acting on any particular emotion, that they stop to consider why they feel the way they do. Because while emotions, feelings, cannot really be controlled, what you do about them and how you perceive them and how you react to them can be. And I think that it is important for people to be aware that some things that seem like one emotion on the surface may actually be caused by, just a psychological propensity, the nature of the human mind, jealousy, overcompensation, projection, things like that. And the easiest example is, if you meet somebody and you just don't like them, some people are not quite aware when they are intimidated by somebody, which really they don't need to be. Everybody should be possessing a good amount of confidence in themselves. But sometimes a person can find themselves intimidated by somebody, and instead of acting in a submissive manner, they instead can act aggressively, even though that person does not deserve any aggression. And so it's just these little things that I think we all should be aware of. Taking time to analyze your motivations and the way that you are reacting to stimuli, making sure that you're always coming from a place of love and positivity, and being able to assess your own flaws and mistakes, because we all have them and they're useful for us to grow as people. But if we don't pay attention to them, if we pretend that they're not there, or if we're not taking the hints that life is trying to show us, we won't be able to grow from these things. So that's all for today. I have one more short video to make, and the Healing Stones video will probably be done in a couple of days. So thanks for watching.